From the Lower Colorado River Authority, this is Wavelength.
Hi everyone, welcome to the May edition of Wavelength. Well, if you were anywhere near the Colorado River during the month of April, chances are you heard about the April River Fest. This month-long event was sponsored by the LCRA and 8 communities along the river. It all started April 1st with the Great Colorado River Canoe Challenge. Pat Freeze was there, along with some pretty colorful characters.
On a warm, humid morning in Bastrop, just under 150 people assembled along the banks to prepare themselves for their encounter with the Great Colorado.
Well, this is the kickoff event for April Riverfest on the Colorado, and there's several goals. First of all, we try to work with the local communities, and the community of Bastrop just jumped right in and was really very helpful in getting this whole thing set up. The goal for us is to bring both professional and amateur racers to the river and give people just an opportunity to get out and enjoy the Colorado.
As we wandered through the crowd, it was evident that the Great Colorado Canoe Challenge had drawn some pretty zany people.
This is sort of Team LCRA here, Mr. Delaney. What do you got here? Tell us about your equipment and your strategy.
Look, we're going to have a good time and take it nice and easy and relax and enjoy the river. We're not really competing today.
Now these are some pretty official-looking little booties here. Tell me about your equipment.
Oh, those are $9 Walmart specials.
Just tell me who you are and why you're here and what your strategy is.
I'm Charles Berg with Travis County, here to challenge John Gosden with the LCRA. My understanding that he's opting to use motorized watercraft to get down the river, and we're taking the more traditional route of canoeing. We're a little bit disappointed here at the county that Mr. Gosden isn't willing to take our challenge, but we recognize his age and we're willing to make allowances for that.
The guys from Travis County, you notice, look cute, but they can't canoe. So they're all show and no go. We'll see how good they do at the end of the race.
Hey, a motorboat. Look at that.
Isn't he cute?
Hey,
look at that. Look at
a motorboat.
1 minute to start.
I'm ready for the race. My head is totally into this race. We've been preparing for this for about an hour and a half.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tell me about the start. How did it go?
Oh, it went great. I hit my mark. I did everything just like Joe told me to do.
Just the way it's supposed to.
Were you nervous?
Of course. I just knew I would flub it up.
Only 30 seconds into the race for the non-professionals, the river claimed its first victims, a team from LCRA's Land Resources Division. As time went by, everyone seemed to find a comfortable pace. Perhaps it was best that folks were moving too fast to notice some of the wildlife along the way. By the end of the race, the sun was bright and hot, and the exhausted racers pulled ashore with fond memories of their time on the river.
Well, how was it?
Well, it was, I had a lot of fun, but it would have been better if it had been a lot of hours shorter. I just ran out of gas up there.
Oh, it's beautiful out there today. It was a perfect day for a race. The Colorado is lined with these huge red cliffs, and it's just very undisturbed and very clean.
April River Fest on the Colorado is an annual event that allows all of the communities along the river to share in the improvements that have been made. By coordinating local festivals with activities on the river, it's hoped that more people will appreciate and help protect the resource. The Great Colorado River Canoe Challenge was the perfect beginning to April River Fest, but there were a lot of other things happening. So we sent our cameras out into the communities, and here's a sampling of what we found.
With that, Board Vice Chair George Kaysen officially opened the brand new LCRA Buchanan Dam Museum. The museum is dedicated to the men and women who made this dam a reality and started the process of taming the mighty Colorado River in the 1930s. The museum has a video room, artifacts, and incredible photographs of the dam construction, which was done primarily by manual labor.
And nearly everyone here that I've talked with have had some relative who was connected with the construction of the Buchanan Dam. And all of you, I'm sure, have a place in your heart for the efforts that those people put in.
One family in particular symbolizes the history of this project and its importance to the state of Texas. 4 generations of the Ellett family worked at Buchanan Dam from the early 30s through today.
It meant life over death, I reckon, because people was almost starving in the 1930s. There was no money. A loaf of bread cost 5 cents. A dozen eggs worth 4 cents.
The opportunity to work on something that your dad built, you know, that doesn't come along every day. And so that's been a challenge to stick with it.
The new offices of the Lake Buchanan Inks Lake Chamber of Commerce were also officially opened just across the parking lot from the museum. Tours of Buchanan Dam as well as Mansfield Dam and Tom Miller Dam will be available to the public from May 1st through September 1st. For information about these tours or the museum, call 1-800-776-5272, extension 3000.
Well, the Texas legislature continues to debate a number of items that could have a dramatic impact on the LCRA. So here's General Manager Mark Rose with an important update on what's happening.
Well, the legislature is still in session and we're still worrying about what it is that they're doing and whether or not it's going to help us or hurt us. So far, we've had a tremendous session. In the month since I last gave you an update, Senate Bill 219, our Community Assistance Bill, has passed the Senate and is on the way to the House. In fact, it's out of the House committee and about to be taken up on the House floor. So I believe that bill is going to pass, and that will allow us to continue to do and do more in the area of community assistance. Since we don't pay any property taxes, that's a very important feature of our future, frankly, of letting the communities that we serve know that we care more about them other than just taking their money from selling them power or selling them water. The big PUC bill has passed the Senate. It's on its way to the House now. It has significant change in it, in our language, which deregulates us and gives us the right to set up a subsidiary corporation to participate in this new deregulated wholesale market is included in the bill. There's still quite a tussle going on between the investor-owned utilities and the EWGs and the municipals, and so you're likely to read more about that in the future. It could be on the PUC bill that it dies the last couple of days of the session like it did in the past. There's still a fair amount of controversy and a long way to go on that bill, but it's cleared some pretty big hurdles. Our position on it is if everything stays the way it is, fine. We can live with that. We'll be successful. We'll make it work. If there's going to be a deregulated wholesale market, then we've got to have the ability to participate in that. Otherwise, we're going to end up being the only regulated wholesale utility in Texas, and we can't survive that way. Everybody seems to understand that, and we have pretty strong legislative support. We've reached an agreement with the investor-owned utilities, and so we just watch it and keep working. We have a bunch of folks working on our legislative program this year: Nancy Barnes, Rick Blunser, Gene Ryle, our lobbyists or monitors that we have out there, and so far they've done a great job. And we look forward to wrapping this session up being pretty successful. The sunset bills that were introduced have died in committee, so there won't be any language that sunsets the LCRA. And the one bill that was introduced, which would make us be part of the appropriations process, which means the legislature would write our budget, I don't think that bill is going to pass. In fact, I'm not even sure we'll have a hearing on that bill. So 4 more weeks to go. We'll give you an update at the end of the session. Plus, after the session is over, I will be visiting with every employee through the fall and early winter, explaining what our new world looks like if, in fact, there are significant changes.
It's an annual event in Bay City, the construction of a temporary dam to provide enough water for the pumping station at the Gulf Coast Water District. But it's a dangerous task, and one that employees must be extremely careful to avoid serious injury. But this will be the last time the temporary dam will be built. By this time next year, a permanent one will take its place and eliminate this potentially dangerous project.
The new dam will be, of course, in the first place, much more automated than this. It's going to be essentially a pneumatic system that has airbags that are raised with, of course, air pressure bladders, and they will, when in a fully inflated mode, raise up 14 iron gates that will increase the depth over and above what we have here by 4 feet.
Construction is planned to begin in May. The completed project is estimated at $900,000 and will take 1 to 2 months to complete.
After more than 25 years with the LCRA, Executive Director of Power Production Walter Reed has decided to retire. General Manager Mark Rose moved quickly to announce that Dudley Pyland, the manager of the Fayette Power Project, will take over the helm of power production. Rose says although it will be tough to lose Walter Reed, the change will be good for the division.
Well, you know, I'm sorry to see Walter go. He's made a tremendous contribution, and he's going to continue on in a consulting role, but it won't be the same because he's not going to be the manager of the power area. And anytime you change managers, you change direction of the group a little bit. So now it's Dudley's time to see what he can do as leader of the management team. I have complete confidence in his ability, and I have confidence in the team that's running the plants today. Hell, they've been carrying Walter for years. Everybody knows that, and me to boot. They damn sure don't need us to run those plants. You know, they're very capable of doing that. So to me, the real issue is not what happens to Rose or Reed, but what's the future of the utility industry. And whether the PUC bill passes or not, I think we're going to see significant change in the industry, largely driven by regulation by FERC and the federal government. What do I mean by that? We're going to see power generation be separated from transmission and power marketing. I think we can see some very clear separations. Folks are doing it all over the country. We're going to need to do that. I think it's going to be partly driven by competition and regulation. So next couple of months we'll take a look at that, and Dudley's taking a look at that. So I'm excited for him and for the opportunities, and say that he steps up at a time in which he will be challenged, and we'll all be challenged, and I'm absolutely confident that we'll continue on and be competitive and do great.
What I'm doing, we're a tour group, and now we're going to go see the retention ponds. It ought to be fun.
Well, Youth Day 1995 was a huge success at the main office complex. More than 100 youngsters came to work with their parents and got a chance to see how they make a living. And they got a chance to do some pretty neat stuff, too.
We went to the radio station, and we're about to go to the dam, and we've been to the pond. It is really fun. I am really enjoying it, and shut up.
Organizers say the event helps kids understand where their parents spend so much time, and it helps them take pride in the work their parents do.
Lake Travis will have a new look for boaters this summer. Navigation buoys are being placed every mile on both sides of the channel, starting at Mansfield Dam and working upstream.
Not only will they assist boaters in navigating the lake safely and trying to stay within the channel, but it will also assist law enforcement agencies and first aid and emergency response due to the mile markers being able to tell them exactly where they are.
The buoys have the mile marker number on them, and they are equipped with solar-powered lights for greater nighttime visibility. The red markers are placed on the right side of the channel going upstream. Green markers are on the left. The buoys are being placed here as part of LCRA's Lake Travis Recreation Management Plan.
At this year's Safety and Service Awards banquet, 312 employees were recognized for their service to the company. In addition, the recipients of 5 safety awards were announced. But a new twist to this year's banquet was the recognition of those employees who volunteer their time to help our communities, customers, and serve on the employee committees here at the LCRA.
In addition to the Service and Safety Awards, this year we have 3 new areas that we wanted to recognize employee contributions. Those would be in the area with an external focus of volunteerism, customer service, and community service, which are really important. Not only as a company do we produce a product and deliver that to our customers, but we wanted to give something back in the form of community services. And I think LCRA does a very good job of that, and we wanted to recognize the employees that put forth special efforts in those areas.
Well, our friend Tom Glenn's in trouble once again, this time with his wife, and it's all because of a little white ball. Take it away, Tom.
Well, good morning. I'm here in LaGrange, Texas at the Fresh-Off Valley Country Club. It's Saturday morning. You know I love golf. Only thing that makes golf any more fun is to be able to play it on company time. You know, to me, the golf is to live. Everything else just waiting around for the next match. Matter of fact, the other day my wife told me, she said, you know, she said, I think you love golf more than you love me. I said, well, yeah. I said, but I love you more than I love tennis. But you know, to me, the game of golf is a lot like the game of life. You know, if you'll just prepare yourself well, you can overcome the obstacles and the hazards. And if you'll just face it with the right attitude, it can be a tremendously rewarding experience and just one heck of a lot of fun. You know, sometimes I think my golf pro and my financial advisor are both in the same business. Try to see which one of them get me in the hole the quickest. So this is the old Supreme Commander saying, you know, if you ever get to feeling low, feel that no one even cares if you're alive, do like I do. Try missing a couple of car payments. Yes!
Have you ever wondered what happens to all of that storm water that runs off the parking lots, picking up oil, dirt, and grease as it goes? Well, here at the LCRA General Office Complex, a one-of-a-kind filtration system was built in to handle that runoff pollution. The water flows into a pre-treatment chamber where sediment is trapped and oil and grease are picked up by these absorbent pillows. The water then flows through an underground sand peat filter, further removing sediment and other pollutants. Next, the water settles in 2 holding ponds where many varieties of plants help polish the water by absorbing remaining nutrients.
The water actually is quite clean when it comes out of this underground filter. It's a fairly efficient filter. And then it has 2 more chances to get even cleaner as it goes on down the line. And that's one thing that's also innovative about this office complex is that the BMPs are in series or one after another, so you get sequential treatment and greater treatment each time it goes through a structure.
Melton is monitoring the water going in and coming out of the system to determine just how effective it is in removing pollutants from the water before it returns to the Colorado River.
2, 1.
Well, not even early morning showers could dampen the spirits of runners and walkers who participated in the first annual Run to Remember, honoring the memory of Colleen Reed. The race benefits SEDEN, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping families stay together. Colleen Reed was a member of the board of directors of SEDEN, and 5 years ago she helped organize a 5K fun run to benefit the children of Austin.
She had picked out this exact same course, and I know she was very pleased with that and the turnout, and I think it's great that we can remember her this way.
John Duran of LCRA's accounting division won the race, and Frank Morgan with LCRA's Community Resources Department finished second.
And in other sports news, the Hydrovolts. LCRA's team entry in this year's YMCA Corporate Cup Challenge finished 5th overall out of 25 teams. The competition includes a 5K run, cycling, swimming, obstacle course, and the dreaded tug of war. The Corporate Cup Challenge is sponsored by the YMCA and promotes community health, spirit, fitness, and teamwork. Congratulations to all of the athletes who participated.
As they say in New Braunfels, Texas, Willkommen, or welcome to a little bit of old Germany right in the middle of the Texas Hill Country. Now, New Braunfels is celebrating its sesquicentennial. That's the 150th anniversary of its founding in 1845. Now, one of LCRA's oldest and largest electric customers plays a central role in the history and the future of this community. That customer is New Braunfels Utilities. When you hear the name New Braunfels, certain images come to mind. Schlitterbahn, Wurstfest, and tubing on the Guadalupe River. But behind the tourist attractions, businesses, and industries in this area stands New Braunfels Utilities, providing electricity, water, and sewer services to some 18,000 customers. Paula DeFonso has been general manager of New Braunfels Utilities since last July. She started work here in 1981 in the accounting department and worked her way up through the ranks. When Bob Sohn retired after 14 years as general manager, Paula applied for and got the top job. She says it has been both a challenge and a great learning experience. She says much of her attention these days is focused on two major issues.
The community of New Braunfels is right in the middle of one of the most hotly contested issues in the water industry, which is the Edwards Aquifer management. So that has really consumed a lot of our time and efforts to promote demand management on that aquifer. The electric industry is facing competition, and we can't put our heads in the sand and hope that it's going to pass us by. So we're preparing, getting to know our customers. We believe our focus has to be on the customer and knowing what they are going to expect from New Braunfels Utilities, not anticipating or thinking we know what they want. We're getting out there and trying to find out what they expect.
Two of NBU's large industrial customers benefited recently from a program provided jointly by the LCRA and New Braunfels Utilities. The program is aimed at lowering electric bills and protecting the environment. It's called the Commercial Lighting Rebate Program. The customer receives a rebate for installing high-efficiency, low-heat fluorescent lighting. Also, the ballast, which controlled the old lights and contained PCBs, are disposed of properly as hazardous materials. This retrofit produced 16 tons of such materials.
Well, this is the second rather large industrial complex that New Braunfels has had take this step. Mission Valley Mills was the first, and now NYTEX, and we're very excited to see that. It's a benefit to both of these companies a great deal, and of course we're very appreciative to LCRA for their efforts in this and conservation and protecting the environment by getting these PCB ballasts out of circulation.
One of the most successful programs at NBU is called Safe Haven. Chuck and his pal Rocky go into area schools each year, entertaining and educating the kids about safety issues. The key point of Safe Haven is that any child who is hurt or threatened in any way can come to a New Braunfels Utilities truck or employee for help.
I look forward to it every year.
I look forward to starting it, and going to all the schools because we have such a good response. The kids are looking forward to it. The faculties from the schools are really into it, and it's had such an overwhelming response. It's fun.
In its 150th year, the city of New Braunfels pauses to look back and pay tribute to its history. Today, New Braunfels is a thriving community with many interesting attractions and a healthy economy.
I think New Braunfels is definitely going to grow. I think with the NAFTA coming forward and the I-35 corridor, I mean, we're growing in leaps and bounds. Definitely the tourism is here to stay. We've got great water recreational activities, and Schlitterbahn brings in people all year long. I think that's going to continue. San Antonio's growing, Austin's growing. As those communities grow, a lot of people migrate and move here in New Braunfels. They like the small town. They like the way things are run.
So happy sesquicentennial, New Braunfels. Here's to the next 150 years. And from the beautiful Guadalupe River, that's it for this edition of Wavelength. We'll see you again next time.